Welcome to Out of the Box with Christine. Are you willing to step into your greatness? Are you ready to shine? Well, get ready, Truth Seeker. You're in for an amazing ride. And now, here's the host of the show, Christine Blasdale.
Welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am your expert authority coach. I'm a business coach who help entrepreneurs who are struggling getting their message out into the world. And I help them create podcasts and video branding and viral TikToks and all that good stuff. And today I am so excited because I have someone who understands the power of video and how you don't have to be perfect. As a matter of fact, it makes you a little bit more endearing. It actually makes you relatable. And so I'm so excited to have on the show today, Elisabeth Griffioen. I kind of said it correctly. I have to have that Griffioen. Yeah?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, Christine. Thank you.
Good. All right, good. Well, welcome to Out of the Box with Christine. I really appreciate, a lot of the clients that I have are life coaches, healers, personal development, self-care folk. And this is a subject matter that makes people a little uncomfortable. And that is getting in front of a camera and looking in the eye of the camera lens and So can you talk about, well, first of all, talk about, you're a video marketing expert. Talk about some of the work that you do with your clients in getting them over that fear.
I always start off by saying there is no such thing as a perfect video, because people tend to make a video and then they say, oh, it's not perfect. And they're afraid I will see it and say something. But I think every video is already a great step. But I do ask people to record it again if they forgot to watch the camera. Yes, so that's the only reason. But I work with clients who think, well, I've got this business, it's going okay, but I want it to be bigger. I don't want to be greedy, but I want my business to be bigger. And the way to do that is to make a lot more people know who you are and what you do. And there's really only one way to do that quickly. And that's video.
That's what I've been trying to say to people. I spent my career, I was in broadcast journalism. I was in radio for 20 years. And I barely even mentioned my name. I was like, I'm behind the scenes. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. And then when I started creating the podcast and then doing even, the podcast coaching, I still was like, well, it's about the audio. It's about, that. And it was like the universe, everything was telling me, you've got to get in front of the camera, because when you're in front of the camera, people can see you. They can see your eyes. They can see if you're like a shifty, character. But what is it? The eyes are the windows of the soul. So they can actually look at you and see your gestures and how you talk and how you move in the world. And I would say, especially for a coach, if you want people to fork over some money for you to guide them in some way, you need to show them that you're human and that you are not some shifty-eyed creature, right?
Video is about trust.
Yes.
If people have seen you on a video, they feel, and that's how we do it with famous people. You feel like you've met them, like they're your friend. So the more often you see someone on a video, the more people think, oh, I know this person. I can trust this person. Because we as people, it's biologically framed on us. I think we always choose who we know over who we do not know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love video as a tool to make a lot of people feel like they know you.
Yes. And to bring them into your world as well.
Yes.
That's one of the things when I'm training someone to create their own podcast. I always say, I show them, of course, how to, edit for the sound and to add music and all of that stuff. But when we record because I like to keep it simple. We'll record on Zoom, and I'll say, why reinvent the wheel? Why work so hard? You can record once and you have the audio byproduct, but you also have the video, which you can put on YouTube. You can put it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, all of the major platforms. You can throw that video up, and especially on YouTube, you can bring in listeners or fans of your podcast who would not normally find you in Apple Podcast land, right? But they can find you in YouTube, which is the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the first largest search engine in the world. Can you talk about the importance? I know that there's other media platforms where people can post their videos, but YouTube seems to be the king or the queen of the game. Can you talk about that and how we can maybe expand our reach if we have a business through YouTube?
I used to not like YouTube very much. I used to be very big with my own videos because I started making videos as like an example for people. Like, this is what it could be like. This maybe like your podcast as well. So I started making weekly videos, and I basically always told something about making videos, and then something about my life, where I was going, if I was teaching a class or something. And I put them on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and they were all doing really well. And then I had put it on YouTube, and I had like 12 views there. So I thought, oh, might not be for me. Right. I might be more of a social media girl. And then someone said to me, you're just doing it wrong. So it was about 4 years ago. And then I thought, okay, well, this is not going to happen to me. I've got to learn how this works. And then I learned, and very quickly after I started adapting all the things I had to change, that's like the very basic stuff like titles and thumbnails and stuff like that. And it peaked. It really, the channel grew really fast, and it taught me so much about understanding what people want to see, because that's what YouTube is, where people are honest. They are honest about what videos they want to see, what they do not want to see. So it really got me in touch with my target audience, with the people I want to serve. So that's why I appreciate it very much. And that's an ongoing thing, because YouTube also knows, well, it's a bit creepy, but they know a lot about you. So as a maker, you know who your viewers are, what they were searching for, and even how long they were looking at your video. So if they watched your video for 10 seconds and I thought, oh, I don't like this, So that's very, well, it was a bit of a disappointment for me, because I noticed, for example, that if I try to make a joke in a video, people are leaving. So I just had to stop doing that. Yes. But that's what I love about YouTube. It's a great way of communicating both ways with your viewers, with your future clients, but they also communicate back and they teach you. So if you pay attention, you can grow on YouTube quite fast.
Yeah.
But only if you are willing to learn. So that's what I love about YouTube, and it's the second biggest search machine, but it's also the second biggest video platform. Did you know that? No, Netflix is first. Yeah. YouTube is second.
Oh, but I can't post on Netflix, can I?
Exactly. And then YouTube, second biggest video platform, accessible for everyone.
For everyone. Yeah. And it's
so
free.
It's not only big, but everyone is there. Like I have an uncle who just turned 86, and I was at his birthday, and I was asking him, what do you do in the evenings? And he was like, oh, I'm watching music videos on YouTube. Yeah. And my son is 12 and he's on there all the time. So I think about everyone is on YouTube.
Yeah. And they have children's programming as well. I have a wonderful client who is a children's author, and she was like, I need to promote the book and I don't know how. And she's like, do I do a podcast? I said, well, you could do a children's podcast, I guess. But I said, if you could do some children's content, a video, maybe either you reading the book or read the book and then have some visuals that come on screen. I said, if you marketed it or if you tagged it as children's content, which you have to tell YouTube this is children's content, and you got to go through a bunch of and understandably so, that they need to make sure that it's appropriate for children. But I said, there's not a lot of, I mean, talk about not a lot of competition. There's not. And then I went to look at some children's programming about, read along type things. And there were millions of views on videos that were like, okay, but I couldn't believe it. And it's just because there's just not a lot out there. There's just not. So it is a platform where you can really get the work out and become very, very popular. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So my question is, because I think some of the clients that I work with have a little bit of imposter syndrome, and it's like, well, who would want to see me? Who would want to, watch my video or listen to me? Do you have clients that have a little bit of that imposter syndrome? And if so, what do you do? How do you help them get out of that?
I think I have only clients that have that imposter syndrome, because they know they know some valuable stuff and they want to reach people, but they're like, well, who's waiting for me? And then, well, nobody, because they don't know you exist yet. But well, I help people mostly by reminding them that they know so much and there's so much they can share. So the way I work with people is, first we start digging for what stuff you can tell that you can help people with. How can you help people just move one step forward toward what they want? And it's also one step closer to you, of course. And then it's sort of awakens a feeling inside them. They're like, oh, this is not about me. Video is not about me. It's not a narcissistic thing to aim the camera. It's a way of helping people. It's a social medium. So what I teach people is, and every video that you make, you've got to bring someone. You have to see it as sort of a present to your viewer. And then if you do it in that mindset, you're like me now. You're on fire. You're like, you don't mind the camera. You are getting in touch with someone that you can help just move one step closer to their goal, and then it's a different game.
Your coaching style is exactly like mine, and it's so refreshing, because I have a few that lacked the confidence, that had that imposter syndrome, that were shy. I had some that were so incredibly shy. And I would ask them, I said, so in your coaching, or what is the purpose? What do you want to do? Well, I want to inspire others to do XYZ, or I want to help people overcome obstacles in life. I want to help them lose weight, whatever it is. And so what I would say is, okay, yes, you need to make sure that you're in the frame of the video. You need to see that you're there, okay? And you don't have, like, stuff on your face, whatever. But I said, instead of being critical on yourself and thinking about you, when you're with a client, you don't think about about you. You're more concerned about them. So always think about your audience first. That person that is going to be channel surfing, and they're going to just land on your video at a time, maybe you're in the mid-sentence, then think about that person and giving that gift to them so that they receive it. And what always happens when we shift the perspective, instead of from us to them, to who we're servicing, it's much easier. It's like, oh, that's right. Okay, this is not for me, it's for them. Yes, that's why you want to become a coach, or you want to help people, right? You want to be a healer. This is one of the reasons. So yeah, so it's refreshing. I'm so glad that you have said that, because I've said that as well. It's important to shift the perspective, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Now, what are some?
And that,
yeah, go ahead.
that also, if people sometimes struggle finding topics, and I think that's the same with podcasts. Maybe if they're like, oh, what should I talk about in my video, and I have nothing to tell, and they know everything already, and everything is already said by all my colleagues on YouTube. And I think the best videos, the one that's with most views, they're always the ones where you think yourself that the subject is too simple. What you're saying is actually a very small thing, because for us it's small. It's like we know very much, and then the viewers are like, "Ooh, thank you for that insight." And it's great to always find out. There's always some moment where people think, "Oh, is that what they're interested in? I didn't know that."
Yes. And
Yes.
keeping it simple is something that we have a hard time with sometimes. We like to make it complicated and complex, right?
And a lot. Yeah.
And a lot. I've also found something that's helped me, and it helps keep me on track as well. But the law of threes, and that is, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Here are 3 things you need to do, or here are 3 things you should avoid. Have you noticed that phenomenon with people? Because we do, as human beings, like things in threes. I don't know what that's from, but have you done that in any of your videos?
I have done it in quite a lot of my videos, actually. But the 3 is something magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there's 3 things you can do with. It's also the bigger structure is always a start, a middle, and an ending. So that's the way stories go. You need a good start. You need some valuable thing in the middle, and then something activating to at the end. Yes.
It's like a yummy sandwich.
Yeah. What's also, I think, at the start of the video, you are exclusively aimed at your viewer. That's like a way to get in touch. Then the middle is really your part where you tell your thing. So that's where you teach or share or whatever it is. And at the end is another moment of making contact with your viewer. So I think that's a very important part. And often we're like, okay, I'm done. I've told my thing. Goodbye, and then we blurt out some cliches like subscribe and share and whatever. But I think thinking good about how you end beforehand is very, very important for the follow-up of the video.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So how do you end videos?
I usually tell people to watch my next video on YouTube, or I will ask them to make a comment, and that's it. So I don't ask big things. I noticed that video is a great way for creating trust, for getting known, for making people know that you are the expert. It's not so great for selling.
Ah, right. Yeah, it's good for branding.
Very, very good for branding. But I noticed that people who start making videos, they're like, okay, I'm making a video now, better sell something. But it's videos actually for making, friends on the internet.
For making that connection and giving, like I was saying, it's the same thing with creating a podcast. If somebody comes in and says, I want a podcast, it's like, I want a puppy, I want a podcast. And I said, here's the thing. You need to educate, entertain, motivate, inspire, any of those things there where it's a teachable moment. So if you can motivate people, if you can inspire people, if you can make people laugh, if you can make people think, or if you can educate them on a subject, then you have something that's riveting to listen to. And I would think that the same would be with video as well. Because if you're just up there going, hey,
buy my thing,
buy my thing, I really need to sell this thing, this is the greatest thing ever, you need to buy it. It's a tape roller thing.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, yes. It is. Right?
Yes. So that's not so that's you I think it's very like podcast. You have to be in it for a reason of inspiring, sharing, helping people, and not to sell. Whereas you can, sales videos work as well, but you can have only maximum of 1 in 5 videos where you offer something, I think. for sale.
That's actually a pretty good thing aspect. And even if it's a product, I've seen some companies that are very clever in their videos, and they'll have a product in the in the video, but it's not necessarily the main star. People will be watching the video. I remember there was a product called Poopery. And it
I
was
saw
a
the
little.
video.
Did you see the video? Okay,
Yes,
so
epic.
it was they were so well done. These commercials, these videos were so well done for this little product that basically it's got like a good smelling oil thing, and you spray it in the toilet before you go. And they did these very posh, the poopery. Can you please pass the poopery? And they were very funny, very well done. And it was for a bathroom toilet spray. And people thought, oh, well, that's really silly. That's not going to. They made a lot of money. They made a lot of money because everybody was like, did you see that commercial? Oh, I got my bottle. Right?
Yeah.
Very clever
It
marketing.
wasn't for sale here in the Netherlands, but I wanted to buy it. But that yes, that was an instant success, that video. For most people it's not that, though. I think it's like in podcasts, they have to work at it a little to find your flow and your way to make the videos that people want to watch.
Well, and I find that humor is quite popular, and that's probably because people, they're stressed already and they're working, like, and they just need something. They need a release. They need something to bring them out of that funk. So it's I find that and that's what I gravitate towards. I'll gravitate more towards, even like on Instagram and TikTok and things like that, more of the things that are funny, that are fun to watch. So explain, if you can, a bit of the process that when a client comes to you and they say, I suck at doing videos, I need your help. How do you coach them?
Well, usually people have already done a couple of videos, and they're like, why is this not working for me? What's wrong? And then we start talking about what they find important about their work. I want to watch them and see them in the eye and see them light up about their subjects. And then, well, actually, there's a boring part as well, because I have people write some scripts for videos. Yes, so we're not like, oh, turn on the camera and start telling, because that's like the fastest way to a very boring video. And as a former TV director, I sort of bring some of the stuff of TV, how you make fascinating, entertaining videos. I teach that to my clients. So they first think of what they're going to say. They write it down. You're never going to say that exactly on camera, but that's not important. It's about deciding, because, well, I think everybody has this thing where if we have, like me now, I want to tell a million things at the same time. And that's not very wise. So they write it down beforehand so that you don't tell too much, beforehand how you're going to finish your video. And then I teach them how to record a video, not just in one big blurb, but in small pieces. That's the television way. And it's not as difficult as it sounds. So I have them record the video in 3, 4, 5 pieces, and then put it together in an editing app or editing program on their computers.
Yes.
And that's a fast way as compared to if you try to do it spontaneously, because then stuff goes wrong. You have to make decisions on spot and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yes. I'll be able, if I'm doing a video, sometimes I'll just start the recording, and then I have an idea. I already have an idea of what it is that I want to cover, and I'll go along there. But you're right. Sometimes when we get in the heat of it, we can also be distracted, or we want to talk about too many things. So I'll just let the camera roll. I'll just let it go. And even if I flub up or if I say things something wrong, I'll pause for a second because I know I have to edit it. So pause, and then I'll go back into it. And I may have something that the recording itself is 5 minutes, but once I edit everything down and I take out all the stuff that's not really juicy, that's like, that's not important. I'll get down to like, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just allowing that and having the freedom of that. I do like the fact that you said you have them write it down, but you don't, because I can't stand when people read on camera. I'm like,
We don't read. We never read.
Or when they're speaking. If they're a public speaker and they're just looking at their notes, I just go nuts.
No, that's a break of contact.
Yeah.
But in a video, you have the freedom to record in small bits, and then between takes, just read and think, oh, that was what I was going to say. So that's how we do it. And then you do like 3-4 lines at a time. And then when you put it together, it just feels like one big complete thing, one story.
Oh,
and it also,
yeah,
that gives you the freedom to be a bit more creative in recording. You can go outside and stand in front of a tree and do some lines, and then walk a little and have the camera on a selfie stick and talk to it. So, because in a video we have image, and image is so much more than just a talking head. So I was in London last week and I recorded a video there walking the streets. So that will take my viewers, not only, I tested a microphone there because I thought it was an appropriate place, a noisy place, but also I was somewhere different. And that's the fun of video, is that it takes people to where you are right then. It's an experience as well as something with information. So I think that really adds to the charm of video, that you can take people somewhere else.
I do like that. I'm getting tired of having just this white wall behind me. I like the idea of getting out there. And we have like our own film crew with us 24 hours a day. We've got it with us.
You don't need a lot to do that, and it's very appreciated. So now when I think of a subject for a video, I also think, where will I record it? Will I go on the street? Do I do it right here? Which is a bit boring, but no rain, no wind. And I try to change it all the time. So people are like, where is she this week? And that's what I teach my clients as well. But there's this extra thing that comes up, and that's, embarrassment about being seen, talking to your camera. So you can go look for a quiet place, but it's also a bit of freedom, and it gives you the videos that people watch until the end.
Yes. Yes. Some of the best videos I've done are like in the grocery store. And when you're in the grocery store, there's always somebody on your aisle. There's always going to be someone who's going to go, what the fuck? What are they doing? But it's because it's a common place. It's a place that people recognize immediately. They're like, she's in a grocery store. And, sometimes they got some funky music playing in the grocery store and you have to sing along. It's my happy place. When COVID happened, it was the only place we were allowed to go. Mm-hmm. So I know every square inch of our local supermarket because of that. So it's a dear place to me. Yeah. I love that.
So if you share that, people will appreciate it, and you don't have to say everything. You can be in the grocery store and not say I'm in the grocery store, because you don't have to, because people see it. Yeah. So there's this power of image and your surroundings, that you don't have to mention them, but it makes your video an experience instead of an information video, and yes, that sticks in people's minds.
Absolutely.
I used to during COVID. I used to make my videos on a little bit of grass where people are walking their dogs, and it's not very pretty, but it was green. It was a tree, and everybody now thinks I have a dog. I don't.
That's cute. I like that. You have a special, a special little gift for our listeners and our viewers that are on YouTube. You want to tell them about that?
Yes, I've written a book because I'm a great believer in preparation for great videos. I think you should write scripts, and then again, you don't have to say this what you've written down literally, but thinking about the structure of the video beforehand makes the video great. So I've written a book with 7 different video scripts that you can use for making your videos. And it's downloadable free through my website. It's for sale on Amazon, but for free on my website. And I have written this book in Dutch first. And I've sold, there's like thousands of people in this small country in the Netherlands that have this book. And I've translated it. And now it's out there for the rest of the world.
I love that. And I'll make sure that we have in the show notes, there'll be a direct link to that gift from you. I think that would be wonderful for our listeners and for our viewers. And then if people want to find out more information about you and book a session with you, it's topofmindvideomarketing.com. So it's topofmindvideomarketing.com. I'll make sure I have a direct link to that website. And you had said the Netherlands, and I just saw the other day, which shocked me. I forget what ranking it was. It was up there. It was like in the number 20 or something. The micro podcast on podcasting, my little tiny micro podcast that I do, and I throw up an episode every now and then. It was ranked in the top 20 of the Netherlands as a podcast, educational podcast, or how-to podcast. And I couldn't believe, I go, Netherlands, really? You have
there's 18 million people here. Yes, well, it's very popular thing to make podcasts. So you're obviously doing good work.
Good. Well, if you guys like me, then I'm all right. I feel good. Well, thank you so much for being with me today, Elisabeth. I just really appreciate it. Is there any last words you want to say before we head out?
Everyone in the world, just try to make a video and throw out your first and then post a second one.
There you go. And also, if people comment on it, comment back.
Yeah.
Reply
every comment is good.
Yes. All right, darling. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being with us. And thank you, wonderful listeners on Apple and Spotify and Pandora and Amazon. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And thank you, wonderful viewers on YouTube. If you enjoyed this and you want to share it with somebody that you love and care about, please do like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. We appreciate it. And check the show notes for those links so that you can get that freebie from Elisabeth that she's offering, the scripts, the 7 scripts, so that you can make amazing videos. All right. Until next time, as I always say, remember to think outside that damn box. Bye for now.